Hi, welcome back to Hexus TV at CeBIT 2010. If you can check by the colour, you probably know we're at the OCZ stand, or OCZ as we say back home. I'm here with Chris Gibson. We're going to have a walk around and see what's new and interesting. So Chris, looking at PSUs first.
Yes, we've got three very distinct product groups that we focus on. We have the PSUs. This is the Fatality range, which we predominantly do. It's a 550 and a 750. Good branding. We've had Jonathan Wendell here himself. We've shouted his name about and giving things away. Then we move on to it's just a stealth, really kind of mainstream non-modular products. We have 4, 5, 600 and 7 watts.
Yeah.
Moving round the corner, we then have the Mod Extreme Pros, which is the modular version. So again, we've got 5, 6 and 700 watts. And then the newest one in our range is the Z series. So we're predominantly focused on the real high end, so it's 850 and 1000 watt, and the key differentiator there is the fact that they're 80 plus certified.
Okay.
So it's gold certified.
So it's super high efficiency.
Super high efficiency, yeah, over 90%. So there are a couple of other guys coming out with this kind of certification. All the Mod Extremes and the Stealths have been pretty much like the bronze level.
Okay.
So good high SPs, not a mainstream market, but good for the real high-end gaming guy that wants to push his PC to the max.
Okay, so we've seen a fair few graphics cards come out of late with 200 watt plus TDPs. Fermi's coming out March 26th, maybe 250, 260. Is there a market for something which is bigger than that in capacity?
I've always sold it on the basis that, well, if you have a 1000 watt power supply, it's going to be stealth quiet, so you're never going to have it fully loaded. So even if you've got the dual graphics cards, and it may not be pulling all 1000 watt or the 900 watt, but it doesn't mean it's only working at half load. So the advantage there is that one, you've got the capability of the bursting power, and secondly is that it's hugely quiet. Got one at home, and I have to check whether it's switched on sometimes.
That's always the test, isn't it?
Yeah, so people want quiet.
Okay. Moving on over, something that OCZ's pretty famous for now is SSD drives.
Yes.
And quite crazy ones too.
Crazy ones here, yes. What we've got on this particular sector is more the enterprise section, which is something new for OCZ.
Yeah.
We're pushing into SLC-based SSD, so we have...
So that's more performance.
It's more performance, so you have longevity of products with the performance. They're all built with the trim support, garbage collection, and they're really focused on the data center type customer, RAID controllers, where there's some more medical applications where performance is key. Cost is less significant, which is very useful.
Okay.
But we also have then 3 form factors: the traditional 2.5 inch SSD, so you can have notebook portable selection. There's a 3.5 inch, more for the PC base, and then we have the PCI Express format. So with here, what you've got is you can run into motherboard, but you can see from the performance, you can zoom on the numbers. We have read writes of 800, 750 megabits per second, which is
that's crazy high.
3 times faster than your normal 2.5 inch SSD card.
Okay. Our one concern is that even though SSDs are brilliant, and we've had 2 systems together, and if you change just one component, make an SSD, because it does make a difference. But in the last year or so, prices have gone up. Are we likely to see a drop in prices?
Memory markets. Yes, yeah. We'd love to say yes, there will be. I think that once they become more mainstream, the prices will drop as the manufacturing comes through. What we're also seeing is the flash manufacturers moving their process technology. So they're going from a 50 nanometer to 34 to 24, which means then the chips are more cost effective to produce.
Okay.
So yeah, while at the moment they're still reasonably high cost versus your normal hard drive, the fact that it is coming down and the performance is so significantly faster, the guys that want pure performance are willing to pay for that extra price tag. Sorry.
Okay, no, I thought you're talking so well about memory, but the first thing I remember about OCZ is the memory modules, and I believe you got some over here.
We have some more memory modules. There's some more SSDs, but so these are more focused on the mainstream. So from the flip side there, it was the enterprise SLC base. Now we have is kind of our end user products, the traditional 2.5 inch drives with our Vertex which is the main selling brand that we have. Then there's going to be new versions coming through. That's a Vertex 2, which is then using a new controller. So I think that historically with Vertex has been with the IndyLinks controller. Then the new version is going to be Sandforce based.
Okay, so that just means more performance to somebody who doesn't understand controllers.
Yes, it's kind of using a slightly different architecture, so you don't need the cache on board to get that performance. So yeah, it's kind of always pushing the boundaries to get more from them, so that the capacities change. We then also have the Solid 2s, which is more of a mainstream entry level. So you can see it's a little dip in performance, but compared to some of the other guys in the market, it's still an extremely good product.
Right. Okay. I was talking about memory.
And then the memory. Sorry.
Okay. Let's come on over here.
So from a memory perspective, it's interesting. It's still that DDR3 is our real focus. So we have the 6 gig kits for the i7 platform. Then 4 gig kits for both the AMD and the Intel i5 and i3.
So with the Core i7 platform, LGA 1366, you can tell if it's still selling well if you're selling kits. Is that still a big seller for you?
Yes, yeah, definitely. I think it's interesting that depending on the market that you're going to, all products still seems to be selling in good volumes. As a salesperson, I'd always like it to be more. But yes, so and I think what we're showing here is the slightly different branding that we have. So we have from the top right, the AMD Black Edition, which is then obviously AMD based, and people like that with branding, and I think that works really extremely well in retail when people can physically see the product. Similar, there's the Intel based one, and then we also have the Fatality, which is again for our friend Jonathan Wendell. Okay.
Is there still a market for DDR2? We presume there's a huge install base there, so you must be catering for it.
Oh, absolutely, yes. We're still seeing a lot of people with recession, not looking at replacing computers, but upgrading where they can. So if you can add 4 gig kits into your PC and it improves the performance, we're still seeing a huge pickup on that. So yes, with not so much any of the 1 gig modules or 2 gig kits anymore, but certainly the 4 gig kits.
Yeah. I know where your focus is, but honestly, focus on me for just a second. OCZ is going to make it simpler for buyers now. You're going to have power supplies, SSDs and memory. We'll be looking at more on Hexus.net, but do check back on Hexus TV for more coverage from CeBIT 2010. Now just look over there. I know you want to.